It's the Mixed NUTZ Positive News Show, guys, with comedians Quincy, the Cockney Prince, Pat Moynihan, hello,
yes, hello.
And me, Director Dish. Today, it's congratulations time. We're starting off with the good news that we're on Spotify. So tune in. You listen to any other podcast yourself?
I do. I listen to many Americans. I don't know why. I listen to a lot of American podcasts.
Really?
And I've actually got into, for British side, mainly the old school footballers ones.
Yeah.
The old story. So I listened to Gary Lineker's one.
Oh, right. I haven't seen that. Yeah.
Gary Lineker, Alan Shearer, and anything with Marco Richards is funny.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's good, isn't he?
Yeah,
He's just
Marco
like
Richards
laughing on time.
yeah.
Oh, Roy Keane. Do you like the ones?
Roy Keane,
yeah. Do you know what? It's so funny.
Yeah.
Well, because you follow football a lot. I don't really follow football as much. I remember back in the day, I didn't mind it, but it's like that's the only things if I listen to the clips, I love it where it's like Roy Keane or Kevin Campbell was on the other day talking about. Do you remember when he just these great stories about Brian Clough? Yeah.
Yeah, no, Brian. Anything talking about Brian Clough is hilarious.
It's hilarious.
David Crossley talks a lot about anything that was face, but yeah. Podcast, I watch anything to keep me updated with the culture and what's happening around the world.
I'd love to see Brian Clough in today's world. Could you imagine?
Yeah,
could you imagine Brian Clough?
I think anybody who was big in the 70s, I would love to see what kind of podcast they were having right now.
Oh my God, Brian Clough.
Can you imagine the Benny Hill podcast?
Oh, Benny Hill. It would literally just be in a studio, just Benny Hill running around the table, just coming into shot.
He's just running on there.
Yeah.
It would be the Hugh Hefner podcast.
Yeah.
I think he'd be cancelled quite easily.
Really? How could you cancel Benny Hill? You never even saw. You saw like. Do you remember the girls would chase him and they'd just be running around in lingerie? You'd see more cleavage in an Argos catalogue than you would in a Benny Hill. Do you remember the Americans used to love it because they go, oh my God, we don't get this much titillation.
And you know what I used to love about when the people used to fall, and that was the first editing, they had to fall like that. And then that was hilarious.
I mean, do you know what? That would be hilarious. Could you imagine if they did Benny Hill and they cast me and you? Imagine they put Quincy as Benny Hill. Them 6 women chasing Quincy. Quincy after about a minute would just stop. Come on then, girls, you've got me. You just lay there. Run, Quincy, run.
My cardio is not as good as it used to be, girls.
How did you find out about podcasts? Where did you find it from?
I social media or recommendations.
Recommendations. Do you know, I'm so bad at it. I listen. I think the Shipping Forecast, that's one of my favourite podcasts. No, I listen to it like when I'm driving, I have the radio on, and then a lot of the shows like Radio 4, they'll go, and you can also listen to this as a podcast.
That's right. Yeah.
So I love shows like that where I think, oh wow, yeah, it's great. But social media, I love it when you see a clip of something. Yeah. But then the problem is, it's like you'll see a clip, and
it's the best bit.
Yeah, exactly. And then I just want to get to that bit. Do you remember the Americans you were saying? There was, I don't really know much about Joe Rogan. I mean, it's bonkers, but you'll see a clip of him interviewing someone.
Do you know the best one for that, to wind people up, is Piers Morgan?
Really?
When he starts his podcast or his show,
and
it's got them literally having food fights. There you see all the chaos, and then it cuts to, welcome to Piers Morgan. So anyway, I just saw food fight. I just saw chicken wings and.
How do Joe Rogan ones are 3 hours, right?
Are they really that long?
Joe Rogan's ones are 3 hours, and he's got a lot of military injured listening to him. People got a lot of time on their hands. I can't sit.
Yeah.
That is like watching a football match with extra time and penalties.
Yeah.
And they still can't decide, and they start again.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
But you're back in the mix, you're back in the third.
Do you know what I found as well? Like when I listen to podcasts, so I do my housework.
Yeah.
And it don't get done.
Yeah.
Because I listen to a point and I'm like, did he just say?
Yeah, then you have to go back and then that's the worst thing. If you're hoovering, then you think, oh yeah, I can just listen to it like that. And you can't. I listen to it when I'm driving. But the only problem is, so like Radio 4, whatever, if they've got, you click on their thing, and then you can listen to the episodes. But the only problem is, if it is really good and you're driving, I don't know if you've ever done that when you're driving back at night, and then you suddenly start getting relaxed, and then you're like falling asleep listening to something.
I can't listen to no podcast driving, especially if they're talking about politics or anything social issues, because that would determine your drive. Music does that alone. So anything of conversation, I will not listen to.
There's a lot of jealousy out there between stand-ups and these young whippersnappers who are tearing up the comedy podcast scene.
Yeah, well, personally, the young coming over here, you know. Still women.
Exactly. No, do you know what I love about it though? I think it's great because it's almost gone backwards, because you remember back in the day when we started, it was a case of you've just got to go and do open mic gigs, you've got to perform. It was all stage time. Don't worry about. I remember brilliant advice from Adam Bloom, who's wrote a book on comedy. He's really lovely. When I started, I remember he gave me some great advice. I was a brand new comic. He was going, don't worry so much about your gags. The first 50 gigs, just do as many as you can, because the first 50 gigs, it's like skin shedding it, and you've just got to get out there and learn to stand on stage. And he was right, because it's about, even, it doesn't matter, we could go and grab someone off the street and give them the funniest routine, and they will die on stage because they can't do it. Go and grab Richard Pryor, Billy Connolly, put them on stage and go, right, there's the Yellow Pages, and they'll make that the funniest routine you've ever seen, because it's about that stagecraft. But the problem is, we've gone the other way now, where young people are like, let me just throw loads of content, which is great at the screen, but then when they come to perform they'll sell. I love it. When I was in Edinburgh last year, I do it every year, and on their posters it'll say TikToker, 150 million views, or 6 million followers, and they'll sell out their venue instantly. But then, bless them, people, like, they'll be nervous and sad. People go, yeah, it was all right, but they've never done an hour before, and they stood there doing an hour, and you think, but well done to them.
And the younger comics, if I listen to one more new comic identify a condition about them, oh mate, okay, so you got ADHD, okay.
Yeah.
You're going to get cancelled, Quincy. Huh? You can't,
if that's a condition,
Yeah. Do you know in Edinburgh, so every year they have these awards in Edinburgh, don't they? So they have like the old Perrier Award, which has changed about 10 different times. So there's another award now called the Ish Awards, which is now sponsored by Jones the Bootmakers. Ish, it's called the Ish, I-S-H, so like the Ish. Okay. So it's and it's lovely. It's Sarah Bowles and Nathan Cassidy, two lovely comedians. They set it up a couple of years ago. And then I hosted it for them last year and the year before, and it was hilarious because there's a couple hundred people who'd come to the event, and half the room are comics or whatever. And I was speaking to the judges, so it's the same as every award. They have to have like 20, 30 independent judges who go and watch the shows. And as a joke, when I was hosting it, and I came on and forgetting that, there's 250 people, 150 of them are probably comics, and some young comics, great, whatever. And I went, anyway, I was speaking to the judges, and they said, yeah, it's been great this year. They've gone round and watched 200 shows each, like it's 7 shows a day. And they all said to me, the shows are great this year, particularly from the young comics, but they said, for God's sake, if anyone else has a mental health issue in their show, it's going to give me a breakdown. And I just did that as a joke, and I threw it to it, and some people laughed, but you could have seen the judges, and they were going, we didn't say that. I was like, it's just a joke, because people don't mind it. It's like, of course, listen, I get it. The thing is, nowadays, it's like when me and you started, the problem is nowadays for young comics, they think, which is not necessarily a good thing or a bad thing, they think they've got to have an angle. Yeah. And you don't need an angle. Do you know what you need as an angle? Funny. Just be funny. Richard Pryor wasn't the funniest because he went, I'm going to be a funny black guy. No, he's just going to be a funny comedian. Robbie Williams, not a funny white guy. It's so true what you're saying,
because I remember going to Edinburgh and I'd done a show about losing my partner.
Yeah.
And then 2 years up, the year later, it's like, how many more people have died?
But that was the thing, wasn't it? One year it was a dead parent. 1 year it was like a breakup. Do you remember the big breakup shows? And I love it. I think that's great. But I'm just thinking, but you do know that everyone breaks up in a relationship. Like, there's no one, I don't know, who's met someone when they were 11 and stayed with that person for the rest of their life. They don't know any heartbreak.
My next Edinburgh show is going to be
my
one night stands.
Yeah.
It's going to be
That's a good show. Yeah, but you could do a different show every night. You go, right.
I reckon a lot of people, it's going to be Trump, isn't it? Trump's going to, political stuff this year. What do you think?
Yeah, but we've already had Trump. This is like, Trump, this is the problem. I remember speaking to a couple of comics who do political stuff, and they said to me, because it doesn't bother me, but they said, God, it's quite hard now because we did loads of stuff we did every joke about Trump, and then now we have to, it's about dusting off them jokes, but them jokes have already been done.
But this is a different kind of Trump.
Yeah.
That Trump before he shed his skin.
Yeah. This is a maniac Trump.
This is a different kettle of fish. It was kind of Trump.
Well, that was one of the things I was going to mention today was, no one's ever done this before. When Trump wants to get Greenland, he wants to buy Greenland.
That's right. Yeah.
So I don't know, did you see this? So it was in the news that so Denmark obviously owned Greenland. Denmark have now set up a campaign. They want to buy California for $1 trillion. Did you see this? It's brilliant. And I thought they put that out on a GoFundMe page. Within an hour, they got 200,000 people within an hour, and they worked out that if everyone in Denmark just put $14,000, and Denmark's only got 5-6 million people, if they all put $14,000, they would have $1 trillion they could buy California. And I thought that, but to be honest, they wouldn't even need to do that. If you put that out, everyone in Europe, everyone in America, Canada, South America, everyone would donate to that. You'd end up, Denmark would end up being the richest country in the world.
When I first heard about the Greenland, I mean, I suppose, I never tested for dyslexia, but I was like, why does he want to buy the Elvis catalogue?
Graceland's already in America.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, why does he want it? No, but I was the same as you, thinking, why the hell would you want to buy Greenland and then I didn't realise it's got a lot of natural resources, hasn't it? And also, but again, it just shows this is the danger of Trump, and it's a positive and a negative thing about him, that you've put a businessman in charge of your country, which is great in one way, because he's not daft. He's stopping, the only reason he wants Greenland is he wants to stop China from getting Greenland because they're going to take the resources. But that's not a good thing, because the thing is, at the end of the day, it's great that America for your country, but the thing is, you shouldn't really be, if you need someone who's just going to go, listen, can we just leave Greenland for the polar bear?
Not just that, obviously, because he wants to buy up all different places nowhere near America, and it's like, it makes you think that I had to dispute with my neighbour about planning permission.
How funny would that be if you get a letter through the post going, your neighbour's complaint, and Donald Trump has put a bid in. He's buying Quincy's. He's buying Quincy's.
Yeah, he signed an executive order to buy number 45.
I'd be like, we were going around Quincy's house. And go, Quincy, what's Ivanka Trump walking around your house for? And Melania, what's Melania doing here? All his ex-wives are here.
Hopefully with Trump we're getting richer, but then also there's a research paper saying that AI is making us more stupid. Do you guys use AI in anything that you do? Like, do you use,
a small little Chinese kid.
Have you not seen Quincy's basement? I know, yeah.
He's my AI. Do these fractions.
Every time you go to Quincy's house, it's like Enter the Dragon. You think they're filming Bruce Lee films there? There's so many.
To all our Chinese listeners, I would like to say that Quincy didn't mean that, but
jokes. Jokes from the 70s.
You're getting cancelled in Shanghai now, Hong Kong.
Oh yeah.
We're saying that
less than square for
these AI things. It's kind of, we've always done it anyway. Like like nowadays, you know, if you forget anything, you've got Google Maps to go where you don't have to remember where your comedy gigs are. And you can use AI to write letters for you. So that says that people are getting more stupid because they rely on their things. What do you think?
But the danger with this is, when you were saying, do you use AI? We don't have a choice. There was never a choice. When people go, if you see people go, oh no, I don't use that. I like to use. There's no map readers anymore. If someone goes, oh, I don't use AI, and you go, what, you're going to pull out an audience survey map to try and get around town? It's already embedded in our culture and everything.
I don't like using it because it really shows how old you are.
Yeah.
It really, I'm from a generation that when I was driving, I used to print off a map to get to my
Yeah, no, I did the same. I remember, yeah.
A4 map. And A14, you take it. That's crazy.
Oh no, but I didn't do it for driving because I had a license but didn't have a car. I used to print the map off for when I was going to gigs. So I'd go, so like say if I'm doing a gig in Nottingham, I'd get the train to Nottingham, but before I left the house, I'd print off a map of Nottingham from wherever the gig was, and you'd be walking round, you'd be turning up to towns, even in London I do the same. You'd be and the worst thing is, because you're going to a gig at night time, and even if you're walking back to the station, there's no better way to say to people going, please mug me, because I'm walking around with like A4 sheets, and I'm walking around going like this, and they just think you're a tourist, and I'm like walking around going, right, how do I get to the Streatham Bowl or to like Nottingham?
Sat nav changed my life. As a cameraman going around the UK, I was petrified of going to different places because I didn't know the motorways and all that.
Yeah.
Sat nav came along, changed my life because those paper things just were too scary. But do you think people are not using their brains as much? They don't remember things?
Well, like Pat was saying, because it's built in society now, and it's like you have to say to yourself, for the young people, it's like when they say, well, come and do your homework, and it's like, well, why am I sitting here for 20 minutes?
Yeah, trying to learn.
Yeah, trying to figure out what Henry VIII did.
Yeah, well, I've got it all here. I could just go chat GPT, tell me what Henry VIII, who was he married to?
Was Henry VIII wrong?
Yeah, exactly. And it'll do all of that.
And it does mentally make you a bit more dim, but you have to go back. Because we could say the same thing about
I think
about the calculator.
Yeah, well, that's this critical thinking is exactly that. You've got to look at it where we're at now is no different to where we were at school. Do you remember when we had calculators and the teachers before us and before that would go, don't use the calculator because that's ruining you from doing the times table. Because why would you need to learn the times table? Yeah. Then before the calculator, we had the abacus and people
abacus, that's right.
Do you remember the abacus? And people going, oh my God, why are you using the abacus? You can use your fingers, and eventually it's going back and back, and eventually to like chalk on a cave.
What are you writing on the wall for?
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. But no, I think
AI. What AI has done is every now and again, I think you should be able to use it for a period of time.
Yeah.
It should be like some kind of super pill.
Yeah.
Right? You're allowed to use it for 2 hours.
Yeah.
After that, use your brain.
Yeah. And you have to test your brain after that. So use it for a couple of hours, but get information off it. If you're using AI just to what these lunatics are doing, where they make fake faces of people, like where they're just using AI to pretend to be someone else, like Tom Cruise or like some whatever it is they're doing, like
Keir Starmer,
yeah. Then that's just pointless. It's like.
Yeah, the AI. I think AI is going to be moved into the areas of arguments. I like the fact of critical thinking when you ask someone a question and you know the line in front of your face. I like the pauses.
Yeah.
And I think that if we use AI too much, we're going to miss those little moments of comfortability when you're a contestant on Mastermind.
Yeah.
Let's have a bit of a Mastermind pop quiz. What is the world's fastest growing plant?
What, as in terms of like from a seed up to the plant?
I don't know, I'm just getting the questions, but
fastest growing plant.
Let's just say
cheese plant.
Is it? Yeah. No. It'll be some sort of weed or something, wouldn't it? Like poison ivy or something.
I'll give you a quick cue. China.
Oh, rice.
No, pandas. Give it.
Bamboo.
Yes.
Really?
Oh, is it?
There we go.
Well, why isn't there more bamboo?
I don't know. What common animal has the closest genetic resemblance to the Tyrannosaurus Rex?
Oh God! Oh, I know this. It's the ostrich or like a chicken thing, isn't it? Chicken.
That's the one.
Yeah.
A rooster. Yeah.
Watership Down is a book about what animals?
Oh, rabbit.
Yeah.
Rabbits. Have you ever seen it?
It's very sad, isn't it?
Yeah, I've only ever seen a bit of it. It looks great.
They showed it to us.
There's no black rabbits in it.
Yeah. No. Isn't that the black rabbit?
The black rabbit.
He's the baddie.
He's the gangster.
He's the baddie.
Yeah, it just shows how old it is.
I knew that.
It's like
knew that.
It's like
racism in animation.
Every James Bond film before the 60s.
Don't tell me the accent as well. He wasn't Jamaican, was he?
No, he was like Darth Vader. Do you remember?
The black rabbit was the villain. That's hilarious.
Yeah. All right. Who comes around my water?
What gas is responsible for the greenhouse effect?
Oh, it's carbon monoxide, isn't it?
If you believe in the greenhouse effect, obviously. Some people don't nowadays.
Is it carbon?
Carbon dioxide. Close. What is generally considered to be the world's hardest substance?
Oh, diamonds.
Oh, it depends who I'm watching.
Daniel DeMar before, yeah.
That's correct. It's diamonds. What weather event is measured with the Fujita scale?
I'm not going to ask a question and you can't even pronounce it.
I know, yeah. It's pure guesswork. I reckon it's earthquakes because it's like some sort of Japanese thing. Is it Japanese?
Wait, go on, have a guess.
Earthquakes?
Close,
Yeah.
close.
Tremors?
Well, it's like they made films about
plates
them.
moving.
What did you call them? A Fujitsus?
Fujita.
Fujita?
Yeah.
Is that a drink or something? That's Fiji, isn't it?
Yeah,
I'm
Fiji.
sorry.
Tornadoes. Oh, here we go.
Tornadoes. He said... Oh, yeah.
Where would you find the flower garden? Here's a very topical one. Where would you find the Flower Garden Marine Sanctuary, which trebled in size in 2021?
A marine garden sanctuary which trebled in
Flower
size.
Garden Marine Sanctuary that trebled in size in 2021. Where would you find it?
Chelsea Flower Show.
Trump's a fan of it, or he's done something to it.
Oh, Greenland.
No. Another one, another bit of water that he's done something to. Change the name to.
Oh, the Mexican
Gulf of
Mexico, there we go. All right, I'll give it to you for the closest percentage to the nearest 10, no, to the nearest 5. Approximately what percentage of the Earth's surface is covered by water?
70%, isn't it?
Oh, Pat's very good.
I'm going to say about 77%.
77. 71! Pat wins on that one. Which cartoon family has a little dog named Santa's Little Helper?
Which cartoon family has a cartoon dog? Santa's Little
Very
Helper?
funny. If you're asking grown men about these cartoons,
The
I'm going to deliberately get that one wrong.
The Simpsons.
The Simpsons?
Yeah,
What? They got a dog?
Yeah, come on.
Was it?
I never knew
What
that.
type of dog was that?
I mean, have you the white one?
Have they?
Yeah, the white one. He's
No, it's like you know that it's the one. Anyway, last few because I'm running out of questions. In many parts of the world, such as France and Japan, which animal is used as a natural form of pest control? This is a hard one.
Oh my god.
Go on.
Fox or something.
No, it's kind of swims. If it looks like one, it must be one.
Oh.
Pest control.
Water off a
Duck's back.
There we go, duck.
Bloody hell.
And that's the quiz. I can't be bothered to add up who won that. So anyway, leaving it. I will say Pat won that one.
No, tiebreaker.
Yeah.
No, you gave it, Pat. You can have that one.
You had all the Japanese and Chinese ones. You got them all right.
I never knew about the Chihuahua.
Next on our amazing list is we've got Google the Google Calendar is removing Black History Month. Yeah. So that's the end of, a lot of DEI has been cancelled over the last few weeks.
What month? Because there's two. There's one in America, which is February now, and there's one in the UK in October. So which one are they cancelling?
I reckon it's the American one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Google.
I'm all for that. I'm all for Stick with me. Well, they kick the British one.
Keep on.
So stick with October.
Yeah.
With Halloween.
That'd be good. You don't be travelling to America in February for gigs. Keep it here, Quince. Let's stay here and do it in October.
DEI's under fire.
Sorry, I have to go back to that. So Google have cancelled Black History Month. So what they just was control delete or something. All these other black people just turned up
just
and they were the computer. Where's Malcolm? That's hilarious. They've taken it out. They never put it in.
Also, when does Google's not even known for its calendar system. Why are they even worried about it? Just let it carry on. What's the...
Well, for people using Google, they won't be able to tell it.
If you need to be reminded that little... I suppose it does make sense, because if it weren't for Google, I wouldn't know the King's birthday.
Really?
And how many times have you looked at your Google Maps?
And then it's like, what the hell is going on now?
And you do you know when Easter is?
No, it keeps changing.
Thank God for Google for that. I would have a school day, mate.
As soon as there's an Easter egg on the G, you got it must be Easter now.
It must be Easter. Change the time.
But I don't understand what benefit Google would get from cancelling that. What is it?
Considering that the elements to make Google comes from Africa in the first place.
Yeah, and also they want... Isn't the whole point of Google is you're directing traffic towards your website?
Yeah.
Why would you then start cutting back your market?
Must be the Trump effects. Must be because Trump, I think they're cancelling all that stuff back in America. There's no Black History Month in America now, I think.
Take it back to the old school, you know what I mean? Teach that in your house, in your family, in your friends. You don't need the government to tell you that what you should be learning. Yeah. The same thing.
Is that, I mean, getting to serious stuff, or do you think, is it a lot of arguments against things like Black History Month and Women's International Day is that, it's it leaves out other people. What do you think about, is that right?
All due respect, I mean, if we look at the common denominator, like what's the reason why we've got International Women's Month, Yeah. White men, yeah. What's the reason we've got Black History Month? White men.
Yeah.
What's the issue? Who beats up the LGBTQ? White men.
Yeah. And it's that thing, isn't it, where they go, and then you will get some of the old school white men go, oh yeah, but what about a day for us? And it's so funny because people are going, but you sort of get every day. There's not a day where you have to worry. There's not a day where. And
I will say it's only a demographic of a culturally who want to do that. So if it was all equal, and as you know, history is taught of the eye of the winner.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. Oh, it's hilarious when you read, even when you go back and you hear, like, the other day, I read something, it was something they were talking about 1,000 years ago about this, the wars, or, and I'm thinking, how would you even know what happened properly 12 years ago? And they were talking about these wars 1,000 years ago where these soldiers went across here and this happened with this. And I'm going, they couldn't even write. Who's telling you all this? So it's obviously whoever's sort of not even won the fight, whoever was in charge after that went, give me the one person that could write in the whole county, give me him, shoot him, burn fire, set fire to all this, let me rewrite it. So
I'm still trying to find out who the rival gangs in Hastings is about Hastings.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But it's true. Like the world's most richest man in the entire history of man was a black man in Africa, wasn't it?
Sudan, yeah, that's right.
Musa. The fact that I don't even know his name until
Rich.
A
couple of years ago. Brother, what's your name? Rich Brother.
Call me whatever you want.
I'm rich.
Yeah.
Whatever you call me, I'm going to buy it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because of things like Black History Month, so it doesn't seem like this. DI's giving up without a fight because it's sneaking into everywhere. Like even nowadays, they're saying that the adverts for Super Bowl were, back to how it used to be in the good old days. Like the Harrison Ford Jeep advert, everyone loved because it was. Back to America's values, a good old straight heterosexual white man advertising a car. But if you look at them, there's loads of interesting stuff.
Run by AI.
Yeah, exactly.
Was it when it was good old back in the day we had to do that with the window?
Imagine AI trying to work it out. Just like a highly advanced robot just looking at the thing.
That's what got me when they said it's like the DI adverts, and it's a good old gone back to the old fashioned ways. Sometimes there's some things back in the day you don't want to go back to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So was Harrison Ford wolf whistling?
Yeah. And also, it's Harrison Ford. How is that connecting to, regardless if you're white, black, Asian, brown, he's Harrison Ford. I love it when people go, oh no, we want someone like to represent people, but he's Harrison Ford. He fought in the Raiders of the Lost Ark. He's like an iconic figure. If people think, if Harrison Ford can afford that, I can do that. Harrison Ford, he's done about 37 Hollywood blockbusters.
Yeah, and I'll give him his dues. He's probably a good driver because if you can fly the Millennium Falcon,
you can drive a Jeep. Star Wars.
But what I'm saying is there's little sneaky bits of DEI, even in I'm sure the creators behind the advert for Harrison Ford. There's people of Far East Asian origin as American soldiers. If you look at all the other adverts, they all had fairly decent representation. Even, I'd say, like the Halftime entertainment provided by Kendrick Lamar was a big sort of Trojan horse, would you say?
The Kendrick Lamar, I don't know if you ever saw it.
I didn't see it.
Was
what happened?
The Kendrick Lamar done a halftime show, and it divided the country. It was very black. It was very. If you're a hip hop fan, you were a fan of it. But there was a lot of messages behind his performances for 13 minutes and 26 seconds. Yeah, which I've watched.
Samuel L. Jackson as a black Uncle Sam.
And if you listened back to it, when he was mentioning things like, "You're being too hood and being too ghetto. You need to play the game." So all these kind of things.
So was it positive or was it in an anti?
From a black perspective, it highlighted where America is today.
Right. Oh, so it was making a good point.
It was making good points. Yeah. And it was kind of ironic as well, because I did listen to a few of there's a famous actor who basically was speaking that how pathetic the message is behind it. And then he went, why can't we just have decent music like jazz? And you're like, but the same kind of people were doing it. I don't know if you've listened to a jazz band before. But it's
that's
nuts.
where it originated from.
It's actually nuts.
They do, don't they? They say, music, it wasn't political, but like all the greats, Ella Fitzgerald, Marvin Gaye, James Brown, all of them, like they had.
Chuck Berry was at the start of rock and roll, where people think, and people forget, they think, it was Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley was influenced by Chuck Berry, and Chuck Berry was obviously the man. Was it Little
the
Richard?
Man. But there was a lot of messages. There was so much messages in there. I thought I was in a WhatsApp group.
But I would say in a sort of like a covert way, like not a lot of people would have known it wasn't in your face. Would I be right in saying that?
It was in your face. It was in your face. But this is the thing. For that performance to happen, it has to go by people. It has to be ticked off. So Kendrick Lamar's not going to be in trouble. It's the person who signed it off. Yeah. I mean, it was needed, and I think that Trump knew that. What was that? And obviously Jay-Z, he got Kendrick Lamar to do it, because that's his role.
Also, does Jay-Z book it?
Jay-Z has booked the last few performers, which they all happen to be of R&B.
Brilliant.
I actually miss a guitar now. I miss a celebrate.
Because I remember seeing only clips of the one where they had 50 Cent, Eminem. That was brilliant. And Snoop Dogg, wasn't it? That was so good. But that's the way it should be, because it was like a good mix of everything like that.
So Jay-Z's like a comedy promoter. He's like
really?
Jay-Z from
like the comedy.
Yeah, he's the guy they go to diverse, because before they had like rock bands, which is all good.
But that's a bit like, but you've got to mix it up now. That's great. Do Rolling Stones one year, then you can do Kendrick Lamar one year, then you do just do like.
It'd be quite funny if he picked like a country and western band, so like that from like Deep South. First track is like just to see the black players' reactions.
Well, Beyonce's latest, she's all about the western.
I know she won a Grammy for best country western album. Which people have only heard one track. This in Texas. That's all.
Is that it? And then didn't she do a Dolly Parton cover of that Jolene?
Did she?
Jolene.
The only person to do a better cover than Dolly Parton was Whitney Houston.
Whitney Houston, I will always love.
And the Whitney Houston, the Dolly Parton one was a good one, but
but Whitney Houston
took it to
was exceptional.
Took it to another level.
So different.
That was DEI in its best effect.
Hey, so in the Super Bowl, is this true? Did Kanye West put an advert out for his new clothes or something?
No. That was tweeted. That was for the swastikas.
Yeah, what was that all about?
That was just him tweeting.
That's just him doing a publicity stunt. I was going to say, it's not like.
What did he do?
So he basically. So you want to say it?
No, you say, because I only heard this. And I was thinking.
So basically, Kanye, when he had his little rant on Twitter, and he's got his missus turning up at award shows, like, literally naked.
Yeah, and ironically, he sells clothes, but not. He
sells clothes. So he's got white tees with swastikas.
So a white t-shirt with a black swastika or something.
Black swastika, and he's
that's a publicity stunt, though, isn't it?
Most 100%, and he was praising Diddy and Adolf Hitler.
Is he what?
he was praising Diddy. I mean,
Diddy's already.
You could have better character references, can't you?
Diddy must be in jail thinking,
Yeah.
oh my God, things can't even get worse.
Yeah,
And then he goes, oh Jesus, Kanye, stop.
Shut your mouth.
Kanye, stop putting me. I'm already clinging on like this. Baby oil clinging on at the edge of the cliff like this, and you'll just put more baby oil on me. Help me. But do you know what was so funny? Because I remember hearing that, and then when I think it was my missus was telling me about that, she said, "God, have you seen what Kanye's doing? He's gone mental. He's doing this thing." And I said, "Yeah, but it's obviously a publicity stunt because he's just doing that. Yeah, and he's just doing it because obviously he's not going to sell that. But then." And then there's that whole thing. You know, the swastika was actually an old Greek symbol, and the Nazis had stolen it from them. So it's Indian.
No,
Is it Indian?
It's Hindu.
Sanskrit.
It's Hindu, isn't it? It's Hindu, isn't it?
Yeah, and loads, and like I've been to a million Hindu weddings where they've got that.
Yeah, because it's a symbol of peace.
And it's just
Yeah, which is so weird. Why they not? I mean, you could not get a worse.
You know what? And the tribe who actually done that, the original swastika, you know, somebody around the borders like we need to work on our marketing. I want to know, when did Hitler go to India?
Oh, do you think maybe he was invited to a wedding? Who knows?
Exactly. That I tell you what, his publicist or whatever, or whoever, you know, the PR guy for Hitler back then, the Indians must have hated him. It's like literally, could you imagine like the NHS or whatever, and then getting a new PR team, they're going, right, we've got a picture of Harold Shipman, he's going to be our new logo, and then we put it around there. It's like, oh my goodness.
He'll come over and he's like, please don't kill us.
Yeah, exactly.
How much for that logo?
Because it's obviously, he's not that stupid, I thought. So it's either it's a massive publicity thing, or he's trying to be even cleverer and do a double thing to go, actually, I'm taking it back to...
Yeah, well, it's similar to the British flag, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, the market...
Yeah.
So there's jiggling these listeners right now.
Spitting. This is what the British flag. It's great.
I don't know what country that's from.
This represents everywhere.
The Palestinian British flag. South African with a bit of Jamaica in there.
Yeah.
It's not
the world flag.
It's not the first time you've seen it, but right. Moving on from great. What other comedy stories there have been? There's an interesting one. Pat, you were about to say something about Peter Kay. Is that right?
Yeah. So did you see this about Peter Kay?
Yeah. I saw Kane was on.
Yeah, Kane did that, and I had to do something on the radio the other day yesterday on Radio 5 Live about it. And I'd seen something about it before, only like.
What have you done?
So basically, he's doing his show. Obviously, you know, he's cancelled this show from 5-6 years ago. He come back doing his show, 20,000 people, Manchester MEN. He's doing the show, and he, at one point in the show, he says to the audience or something about, shout out something that you're doing such and such. So he's getting suggestions, and then some drunk guy, big fan, just kept going, garlic bread. And then, so that's obviously Peter Kay's one of his catchphrases. And then at first everyone's laughing, but then this guy kept shouting out garlic bread. And then Peter Kay told him to stop whatever, even though the guy was actually being nice, but the guy was obviously drunk and just excited. And then, so he got that guy thrown out. And then at the same time, there was a woman that kept, again, a big fan of his, was going, I love you, Peter Kay. So every time there was a break, she would shout, I love you, Peter Kay. Got her thrown out as well. And I was like, are you mad? I mean, look, I'd pay money for an audience to come in and just shout, I love you, Patrick. I'm not going to throw them. I'd pay them. I'd be like, listen, don't even charge her. Let her come in. Why would you?
Yeah.
I understand.
So you got them thrown out?
Yeah, so I get it.
How good is his hearing then? It's 20,000 people.
I know, exactly. But that's what I was saying, where it would be the equivalent of, he's not playing in he's playing in the, like, you know, when you're at the airport, imagine you've gone right through security check, and you've gone over to the gate, and I'm still at departures, and I'm going, Quincy, tell me, you're not going to
garlic bread.
Nobody else is going to hear. Exactly. Garlic bread and get a Pret sandwich. You're not going to hear that. Nobody's going to hear it.
So we threw 2 people out.
And you can see the video.
That's going to affect his profit.
Yeah. No, but do you know what? He's such a businessman, because even on the clip he says no refunds, and the audience are laughing, but you know that he's you know that he's saying that as a disclaimer.
I've heard some stories that he deals are like 95%.
Yeah, doesn't he take the car parking as
Yeah,
well?
yeah.
He is crazy.
He's
How much money do you need? I mean, it's like, I've heard of, like, you know, when you see these comics that they don't pay their tax or they get done because there was a loophole scheme. Do you remember where you could go offshore and you could do all this and they were making millions? And they do this loophole thing so that they don't have to pay whatever it is, 20, 30%, and you don't even have to pay 1%. And I'm like, come on. How much money do you physically, you know, and they're at the peak of their career. You're going to just keep making money. Eventually, you're going to have to be like, even your conscience, can you not just give?
No,
like, even if they turned around and went, there's £1 million, it wouldn't even dent you.
I reckon there's a threshold. I think the more money you earn, it takes a bit of your soul away from you.
Yeah, and then you forget about life. You just,
Yeah.
What's the worst heckle you guys have had in your? You must have had a few.
I don't heckle. I don't get heckled.
Really?
You don't get heckled? Get out.
I've never been heckled.
God,
You must.
Touch wood. I'm not encouraging it. But I've had silence.
Yeah, that's.
But I've never been heckled.
Oh no, that's it. If they don't speak, and then that's worse. You'd rather.
Yeah, I'd rather heckled than silence. But yeah, I mean, I suppose when you come on stage with like an offensive weapon, does that really?
Yeah.
So walked down the street the other day.
Yeah. Quincy's just coming on with a samurai sword. Don't bother with the mic stand. I've had a couple of heckles, but mine, touch would have been lovely. I was touring this recent tour. I was in Worthing, and I do that a few times a year. It was hilarious because sometimes I wear like a green jacket, so like a coat, you know, like a zip up like this, and you'd wear, so I have like that, because back in the day I used to wear a suit jacket because it's a theatre or an art centre, but now I wear like, so it's still like a zip up, but you want something, and I got, because I like this green, then I got another one slightly similar to that, and it's quite a nice one, and I remember wearing that at Worthing, and I wore a slightly different because I deliberately made sure even though it looked similar, it wasn't the same. I walked on stage, I'm doing the thing, and then the guy, like about 4 rows back, shouts, "You wore that jacket last time." And I thought, and it's great because that's a heckle, but it's nice.
Yeah, but I'll call that banter. That's not
really.
Yeah.
But that is, you don't get them old heckles. No one's gonna. I tell you what though, and you might have done the gig. It was I can't remember who it was for. It was a bit like Jeff White, and bless him, something like that. It was lovely, you know, Mirth Control, whatever. But it was back in the day, and these gigs. I remember doing this gig and I turned up late and I remember I wasn't driving, so it was quite a few years ago, and I got the train there. I think it was Luton, and it was a gig where, bless them, the audience didn't really know there was a gig going on. Someone had just put like a pallet down in the pub or club or whatever, so there was some drunks in there, and so the people who were running it didn't really have a choice, you know, everyone just come in. And I turned up a bit late because I just got the train, and the comp had been on a couple of acts, and because it's them sort of gigs where the acts haven't got much experience, I didn't have loads of experience, but I had enough because I've done enough gigs all over the place at that point. And when I got there, it didn't even, you couldn't even tell there was a gig going on because you just walked in and there's conversations back here. There's a drunk bloke at the bar who was just shouting, and I went in and I went, "Where's the gig?" And they went, "It's here." And I went, "What do you mean?" And then there was a poor guy on stage just like really like struggling, and I felt sorry for it because they've got no experience. And then I went, I said, "So what is it?" And the compere he went, "Listen, the problem is some people are listening, but the problem is there's a guy at the bar really drunk, really aggressive. He's just shouting at everyone and he's just killing it. Every time you try and build momentum, he's killing the mood." So I went, "All right, okay." But
sounds like a promoter.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Every night.
So I just said, "Okay, right, well, all right, well, can you ask him to leave?" And they go, They can't ask him to leave because he's a regular, he's been here and he's just been, and also they haven't got security, he's given a bit of grief." So, okay. So I said, "All right," and we have to do it anyway. I thought, well, I want to get paid, so I'm going to have to go on anyway. So I went on, and I started the first bit and just ignoring blam, bam, bam. So you're just sort of playing it, and you think, right, okay, you're getting them to listen. A couple of people are laughing, and then this guy starts shouting, going, "Ugh." And I did a joke about, you know, because you do a joke, don't you, where you're here and you go, "Oh my God," you pretend it's rougher than it is. It's not really that rough. And then I was talking about back in Middlesbrough, even though it was quite rough. And then I went, and this guy went, "What are you talking about? Not rough it." And he went, "You're not even funny," whatever like this. And I went, "All right, mate." I said, "Listen, we haven't, you know, apparently you're not funny either because no one's staring at you. They're all like, everyone's like moving away from you." And then eventually I was doing the stuff and getting a bit of laughs from the audience off him. And then I went, And I said to him, I tell you what, mate, come up here then, and you do it. And he goes, yeah, all right. And he walked to the stage, and it was hilarious. He walked right to the stage, grabbed the mic, and he literally just went, yeah, and then I just stood there like this, and then the audience were laughing. I went, and then after a bit, I went, thanks. I said, that was brilliant, wasn't it? What? He just literally walked off, and it was the funniest thing ever. Yeah, and he literally just walked, and this was a guy who, you know, them lads who think they're confident and drunk, and you just see them sober and their arse goes like they just, and it was brilliant. And I thought, that's the way to deal with it. The same way that
that could have backfired though.
Yeah,
he could have been amazing. He could have been the best man.
Imagine he just started doing like.
Could have been Peter Kay bought.
He starts doing 27.
Started bread,
Got bread. And I'm like, oh, for God's sake! I'd have just gone off to.
What's your name, Peter?
Yeah.
Peter what? Don't worry, you find out.
You just see me behind the bar with an apron on, just putting garlic bread in an oven. You carry on, mate. Anyone else want garlic bread? But yeah, I mean, it's like. We've all heard stories of people getting heckled, and it's like most of the time it's stopped now. I think because people who go to comedy shows are paying. I'm surprised like with Peter Kay that it happened because people are paying so much money to go to a show. Why are you going to heckle?
Wow, so that's an interesting way of looking at it. So there's less heckling because it's so expensive.
People can't afford it.
That's another good show as well. We should have when comics attack.
Oh yeah, that's happened, hasn't it?
It's happened a few times. Yeah.
Oh, what? The other way around?
With comics attack.
I've seen them being attacked, but what about what?
No,
there's a couple of comics.
Which one did you say?
I haven't attacked no one, but I've told someone the next time you open your mouth.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
We just and if the police are watching,
Jim Jeffries, did he?
He got attacked in Manchester.
Yeah. But actually, I mean, it wasn't. Did you ever see the video of it?
Yeah. Do you know the funny thing about that? So after I took the line from there's a film called Players Club. So there are a couple of us. I saw Jim Jeffries, sorry. Yeah. I saw him a few months after. So obviously everyone's talking about it. Because that was the first viral video, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what launched him. That's right. The first viral video, right?
Yeah.
Didn't exist before
so
that.
I'm like, Jim, did he even try and pinch it?
Yeah.
You just stood there, you're like, where's your footwork?
He went like that, yeah. Didn't he?
And then Tim was hosting, Tim Clark was hosting.
Ah, really?
And then forget, yeah.
And did Tim do anything?
No. Tim realises he's over that limit now. He's just left it alone.
And he probably, and you've got to remember as well. Imagine if we're doing a show, we'll be chatting. You're not gonna realise, and then also you can't then run on stage if. Say another comedian's on, it's not really your place to run on then, is it? Because then it's like, well...
It depends. I mean, it depends.
What, to save someone from being attacked?
No, because you don't know you don't know whether it's part of their
oh, they're set. Oh, yeah, right.
They might be just going, because if I'm messing around, you might, and someone's up and you go, yeah, all right, then you don't really want someone else going, it's all right, I've got this. It's just a lunatic.
Now, I've been in situations where comics, the night has been like iffy, and there's always a couple of guys or guy who thinks he's been, and there's a couple of times I'm not promoting this, I'm just saying I don't play that shit.
Yeah. Good.
There's a couple of comics who have been a bit intimidated, they're not experienced.
Really?
And I've had to step in.
Really? What happened? What, the audience were just heckling them?
Yeah, exactly. Or they take the joke personally and stuff like that, or it's like take it the wrong way. And it's like he ain't talking to you. He ain't talking about.
He's not coming and personally attacking you. He's doing and he's going to do this in every room.
That's so I have confronted a couple of.
Good, yeah.
Well, I mean, Jimmy Carr's been seen because, obviously, not attacked, but people are really offended by the audience.
That's his stick, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
he's doing that thing where he's a shock jock or whatever. He's trying to cross the line.
He has done a couple of lines which I have said they were bad, but they were so funny. Have you heard his Lily Phillips one?
No.
What's that?
So basically, he's like Peter Kay. He says to the audience, "Shout out, what do you want to talk about?" So someone says, Lily Phillips. Oh no, it was Bonnie Blue.
This is the girl that
slept with yeah. And he says, there's nothing really. What he did, he explained that the situation she's in and where she has come from to get to that position of and why she's doing it. And he used psychology.
Yeah.
And he said he could imagine that by the time the men finished with her, it'd be like taking melted cheese off a toast.
That's just... I love a cheese toast, and now you've ruined it. That's like,
I had to say, you know what? I'll give Jimmy that one.
That's good. But the thing is, I mean, you can't. Who's going to find that offensive? You'd have to be a lunatic. It's like them people when they do a joke about a paedophile. They go, "I hope I've not offended a paedophile." Like, who's going to?
There's a couple of comments to say, any paedophiles in, sorry.
But who's going to get?
But they're more likely to get upset over anything political. Like I've noticed now since the Trump thing, like 4 years ago, it was game. But a lot of people now like Trump. So it's like you have to be careful not careful, but be mindful. There's a couple of people who say, "Oh, I don't really agree."
Yeah, and they're going, "Oh, you can't. You're left wing." Well,
wouldn't be the other way around. People are less worried about what they say because they'd be more like Trump.
But you know what it is now? You made a good point there about that. Is that it's all? I think the reason why there's not as much heckling because it goes online now. It's not like no one's heckling you in the club anymore.
Yeah, they would just film you and put it online.
And then they will go online and go, "You're an offensive," but they won't dare say that to you in a club or in a show.
Because there's been a couple of comics who have ripped into audience members and everyone's laughing and they've put it online or they've contacted the club. Or no, comics, like the new comics, they put their stuff online.
Yeah.
So to that comic, everyone's laughing, but the person who's the victim, they've got in touch with the club for it to be taken down.
Really?
I won't mention the clubs, but that's happened at a couple of clubs.
Wow. Yeah, but do you know, I'm not surprised by that. I've never heard that before. I've just heard it when you've just said it now, but I'm not surprised because the amount of clips you see now where the camera's not only on the comedian, but it's on the audience.
That's
and
right.
I'm like, listen, I get it. It's do a quick shot of the audience, but don't do a picture of the front row.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking,
a wedding photo.
It's the comic, keep it on the comic. And also, it's not fair for that person because you're ripping into them. They didn't ask to
I think Paul Smith, that nearly went left for him when he spoke to a guy who had cancer.
Ooh.
But he was actually, the guy was like, he said, I was treated normal.
Yeah.
When you find that someone's got illness.
Exactly, because you're not.
Yeah, but he said that he appreciated it.
And the thing is with Paul Smith's one of the nicest guys you can meet. He's lovely. And it's so funny, but the thing is, because obviously we know him, whatever, but for people who are at home, who've never met him or never been to a show, if they see a clip of that, they're going to think, this guy's like a Jim Davis, and he's like a bird, but he's not. I mean, he's the total opposite. He's a lovely fellow. But the thing is, it's like, that's the problem now with social media. Well, not social media, but with anything.
Going on, the phone goes out.
Yeah, because back in the day, if you went to a show or if you saw something and you didn't like it, doesn't matter, that's it. You just went, I didn't like that. Whereas now people go, do you know what? I didn't see that whole routine, or I didn't even sit, but I've heard about it. I'm going to go and I'm going to Google everything that's on. I'm going to go and write everything about. I'm going to waste an hour of my life writing and complaining about this thing. And you're thinking, just get over yourself. Spend that hour doing something. I did something about when the Eurovision Song Contest was on this year, the one just gone, and it was won by. And it was great, whatever. I didn't watch the show. I just remember reading, saw clips, and it was by the first trans act or something that was, and it great. And I was like, yeah, brilliant, whatever. It means nothing to me either way. I'm not for or against. I mean, brilliant, well done. And I did a video about saying, because there was loads of controversy about all these things that had gone on. England had got nil par, and I remember just doing like a 30-second video, put it on social media. I did it in the stand-up, and I did think about. God, it's so good, to see that the Eurovision Song Contest this year is just back to normal. Back like how we had like with ABBA and all that. You've not got any of this, all these gimmicks and people doing all this. So I'm obviously like just taking a mick, but in a nice way, and just saying, but as like fun like this. And then someone and a couple of people had obviously not seen the sarcasm, had gone, "You're a pearl clutching boomer. Why are you like?" And so like,
you're what?
A pearl clutching boomer. So apparently this is
hilarious.
This is the way of attacking us. And going, just because you're mentioning something doesn't mean I'm attacking it. But their get to is to call us a boomer. None of us are a boomers. Like would be our dad's age or mum's age. It's like someone born in the 50s, and it's like a boomer would be that, and also pearl clutching. And I was like, and they think that's offensive. I'd be quite pleased if I had pearls in the house. I haven't got any pearls. What do you mean? Like they think I'm just in the
pearl clutching. I might use that. When I'm on the ends, I might use that. When some whippersnapper trying to take my phone. Yeah. You pearl clutching boomer! Give me back my iPhone 16.
You little rascal! Don't make me get my pearls out. I mean, it's like, and that's ironic, isn't it? Just the way that it's. So I think people now, or hecklers, it's gone full circle where they think that because we're not attacking something, but they think you're attacking, so then they're now going to attack you with something that doesn't even make sense.
And I think what hecklers has become, they've become finger gangsters. Like you said, they will go online now. So they will sit there and absorb it, where at least I'll give hecklers back in the day, to say something, you have to be pretty brave.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're in the moment. Yeah. And now people wait for that moment to go online.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they live for it. And I mean, it's just like, but why? And do you remember the one, Dave Chappelle had a great routine about the LGBTQ community, and if you actually watch the routine, he was actually on the side of the LGBTQ community, and he was doing brilliant. And he was saying that what you don't realize is that, as a black man growing up in America, I actually went through all this. We'd all be sat in the car. He does a great routine about the whole thing, and loads, and it was literally people were trying to cancel him, and loads of people were going, "This is offensive," and then people were actually. And it was so funny because I remember reading some of it, and people were going, "Have you seen the routine?" They went, "No, I haven't seen the full routine, but I've seen what he mentioned this." And they went, "Well, then why are you
judging it?"
Yeah, because you don't actually realise if you watch the whole routine, he's actually on your side. Yeah. But that's the danger of social media now.
It goes back to AI. AI comedy. People's concentration spans. Yeah. They'll only take a clip. And not listen to the full context.
Yeah. That's the danger that we have, I think, as comedians now, where you put clips out, and it's like what you said about Paul Smith or whatever, or what you said, you could easily edit us to look like the most offensive comic ever. Could you, I'm going, hey, it was great to see, a Transact won the Eurovision Song Contest. They did this anyway. Have you seen this? And it'll just cut it out to be Transact, Eurovision Song Contest, murderer, rapist. And it's like, hang on, what?
Cut to the audience. We've got Nazis supposed to get. Great to see you.
Do look out for those clips of Pat and Quincy on our TikTok channel coming soon. This show was brought to you by T&K Euro. Check them out. And we will see you on the next episode. Bye for now.
See you later.
Goodbye.
Bye.